Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, you'll be listening to a hypnosis session created for a lady that wanted to tap into a resourceful feeling that was powered by her higher self. She really felt that at various moments in her life, she was guided by something that she didn't truly understand, but that was really helping her in some way, that she was a conduit for something more powerful. And what she really felt is that there was a time in her life where her higher self guided her to a particular resourceful word, and that word was fortitude. And it's not a word that I come across very often. I tend to be very familiar with various adjectives and qualities of resource states, but fortitude, I was aware of it, but didn't really understand the meaning. And fortitude really means the courage to and the bravery to handle adversity. So a particular type of courage at handling difficult times, almost like resilience on steroids. But what she wanted was a new word guided to her from her higher self. So in this hypnosis session, you're going to hear a metaphor of a treasure chest, various levels of disassociation to really access that kind of higher self, lots of suggestions to say that it's her higher self guiding her to a location, to a word, and then her absorbing that particular word that will enable her to deal with the next chapter in her life. I think anyone will find this hypnosis session useful because everyone can tap into a intuitive feeling of what do they need most. And that's really what you're going to experience in this hypnosis session. Of course, it was created for someone very specific. So if you do like the idea of harnessing more of your unconscious mind or tapping into the incredible abilities of your higher self, there will be a link in the show notes that you can schedule a free consultation call to explore what it would be like to work with me. But you might find that this hypnosis session does what you need it to. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow feelings of any worry, stress, or tension to leave your body in your outward breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, you can position your body in a way that can enable more comfort, more relaxation. As you can become aware of the rhythm and pace of your breathing. Breathing in that resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, allowing it to go at the pace that facilitates things that aren't necessary leaving your body. Not just tension, but anything you've been holding on to. Frustrations, annoyances, worries and stress just feel like it's leaving your body in that outward breath, enabling you to go deeper and deeper relaxed. I want you to create an image in your mind of an antique globe The kind of globe that you might find on the desk in an old-fashioned study. Maybe it has a brass frame. Maybe it's shiny. This globe that spins on an axis. And I want you to spin this globe. See it rotating. And then feel, with your eyes closed, you continue to spin this globe. And I want you to harness the power of the wisest of the wise parts within you, the all-knowing part, the higher self, to guide your hand to stop the globe on a particular place. And maybe this is in the middle of an ocean, and maybe it's in the middle of land. But just accept that wherever it stops is exactly where it's meant to stop. As you imagine opening your eyes and looking at where a finger is hovering over. And that's exactly the place that we're going to travel to. And if you can see that location, just let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to imagine what it would be like to zoom in, like Google Maps, into that location until you can see it almost like a satellite image from above. And then imagine that you're no longer observing, but you're placing yourself in that representation of that land. Just like Mary Poppins jumping into a picture. I want you to imagine that you're jumping into that location in the globe and that you're suddenly there in that place. I want you to imagine you're wearing whatever clothing is appropriate to be in this place. And I want you to notice how relaxed you feel there in that place. As you look around, become aware of your surroundings. And I want you to imagine the most comfortable chair you've ever seen. And I want you to imagine sitting in that comfortable chair in complete privacy and starting to really relax there in that place. Within your imagination there is a globe, and within the globe there is a location, and in that location there is a chair, and you're now sitting on that chair, relaxing your body. And I'll count down from 10 to 1, and with each descending number you will feel deeper and deeper relaxed. 10, eyelids getting heavier and heavier as you release any tension in and around the eyes. 9, noticing any tension in your forehead, cheeks or jaw, and releasing that tension now. 8, becoming aware of the rate of your breathing and just deciding that as you slow down your breathing, you're breathing in more resourcefulness and exhaling whatever your body doesn't need. 7, focusing on your neck and your shoulders and just feeling that any tension is melting away. And it feels good there on that chair in that location just to feel so relaxed. Eyelids heavier and heavier. At 6, you now focus on the weight of your hands and your arms, and all the muscles from your shoulders, biceps, triceps, forearm, all the way down to the muscles in your fingers, all relax. Arms by your side, limp, loose, heavy. If someone was to lift them up, they'd be floppy, like the limbs of a puppet. And then 5, focusing on your breathing again, just imagining that all your internal organs, your lungs, your heart, your stomach, your gut, your diaphragm, all relax now. 4, legs, just like your arms. Feel the heaviness of them. Limp, loose, heavy. As rigid as a wet dishcloth. Limp, loose, heavy, that's it. All the way down into your calf muscles. 3 and then 2, all the way down into your ankles. Even your toes are relaxing. From the tip of your toes to the top of your head, there on that chair, in that location, just in your imagination, fully relaxing now, and imagine that you're drifting off into a sleep. A deep sleep. Such a deep sleep that you're dreaming. Except in this dream, you're standing behind yourself. In front of you is the version of you asleep on a chair. And I want you to check just how asleep you are. Lift up an arm by the wrist and notice just how limp and loose and heavy it is. Imagine shaking yourself and yet you still don't awake. Letting you know that your consciousness is in a deep, deep sleep. And that your imagination is able to go on a journey. And somewhere near this chair is a secret entrance to an old temple. I want you to imagine going into that secret entrance, and it's just well lit enough for you to see down corridors and hallways until you get down into this secret temple. And there is a room in this secret temple that almost looks like a place of wisdom. That this is the place that the higher self of the temple would be based. And in the center of this place is an ancient treasure chest. I want you to notice how it looks, the material it's made from. Imagine trying to move it and feeling how heavy it is. And I want you to imagine this treasure chest is locked. And nearby there is a key. And I want you to imagine putting the key in the lock of this treasure chest and turning it until you hear the click of the lock of the treasure chest, unlocking that chest. I want you to accept the suggestion that inside the treasure chest are untold riches. And yet there is something more important than all the gold and all the jewels. And that is a word. A word that comes from your deep subconscious mind. A gift from your higher self. A word that represents a resource or a quality, a characteristic perhaps, something that will be more valuable than gold and jewels over the next few years, something that will steer your life into exactly the direction that it's meant to go. And when your unconscious ready, to now open this unlocked treasure chest, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to feel the weight of even the top half of this chest is heavy. You can feel lifting this treasure chest open. And I want you to imagine, almost like magic, there is light shining on that treasure chest. It could be dark around, but the treasure chest is well illuminated. And as you open it, you can see the shininess of the gems, the jewelry, the gold. And perhaps it's obvious because it's on top, or maybe it's hidden below a few coins or a few jewels, but there is a word somewhere in this treasure chest. And I want you to search for it. And maybe it's written on old scroll, or perhaps on white banner card. And when you found that word, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to think of the meaning of this word. Words are interesting because words are not the full representation of anything. They're simply an interface to attach a meaning to a feeling or an item. It's sanitized in some way just by giving it a word. And I want you to hold that word in your mind's eye, to look at the shape of the letters, and to allow whatever thoughts and feelings flow to you as you hold that word as an image in your mind. And maybe it's a memory. Maybe it's a meaning. Just allow all of the associations to flow to this word. Could be inner dialogue, could be images, movies in your mind, intentions, objectives, perhaps the circumstances where this resource would be useful. And then I want you to scan your body for where it feels, not that this word belongs, but the feeling attached to this resource state belongs. And when you know where it belongs, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to imagine holding that word next to that location in your body, and then seeing the word disappear, almost like fairy dust, as glowing fragments of energy become absorbed into your body as you now accept that this resource is now within you. It can be harnessed by all parts, not just your higher self, but all parts can utilize this to steer your life in powerful, positive directions, to enable you to channel that thing wiser than you, to guide your life, to make intuitive choices and decisions, to enable you to do what you're meant to do. And I want you to think of perhaps 2 or 3 things that could be different now in the future as you think about this resource, more precious than all that gold, all those gems, all that jewelry. I want you to think of how this will be valuable to you. How do you put it to use? Do you do it consciously? Or do you allow this to be an ingredient to amplify unconscious choices? Think about what the future looks like with you harnessing this resource, this quality, this tool. And I want you to think of perhaps qualities of the past that have been useful. Intuition, fortitude, resilience. Does this quality amplify those qualities? Or is it like turning the page to start a new chapter? A new chapter in the book of your life that with this quality enables your character to evolve, to shine, to move forward. And when your unconscious mind has taken this resource and integrated it into you and thought about how you are now different, and you're ready to leave this temple, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to close the chest, lock the chest, noticing you haven't taken a single coin. Everything that was in the chest before is still in the chest, because this word is more important than anything in that chest. Put the key back where you found it and leave this ancient temple for someone else to discover their treasure, their word. And you leave that temple walking back out of that secret entrance, and not far away you can see someone that looks just like you, fast asleep on a comfortable chair. I want you to climb into their body so you and them are now the same, still feeling that same sensation in that location, embodying that quality. And then imagine getting up out of the chair, looking around but feeling different, feeling that this resource is as much as your DNA, as your height, your hair color, your eye color, that it is you through and through. As you now imagine zooming up out of that location until perhaps you find yourself in a study, spinning a globe, feeling this resource within you, feeling like something important has shifted that will create ripples through time and space throughout your life to facilitate profound positive changes. Take all of those positive feelings as you're no longer in that study with that globe, but you're back in the present, accepting that all of this are just thoughts within thoughts, ideas within ideas, dreams within dreams, then all parts of you are here in the present, listening to my voice. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, get a sense that all parts back in the present, listening to my voice as I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.